What's going on, everybody? Happy Hump Day. Welcome to another edition of Giants Collective. As always, joined by Adriana down there, Entertainah over there, Anthony down there. Hope you all had a great week so far. Obviously got a lot to talk about today. But before we do that, big shout out to In the Cloud, sponsoring tonight's episode. If you're 21 or over, you can go into the link in the description, get 25% off your first order plus free shipping if you use that promo code Giants Collective. You can also check us out on Instagram and TikTok, as well as Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out there. Links are in the description below. And of course, if you want to become a member of the fastest growing Giants show on YouTube, you want to click that join button, or I should say that again. You want to click that join button, and you get the cool emojis. You get your names in the outro, and you also get monthly member messages. So check that out as well. Appreciate you being here. So let's go. Giants obviously played a game this Saturday. It was a little, I was pretty happy. Can't lie. So we're going to start first things first. I mean, I think the obvious thing we want to talk about first, Jackson Dart. I don't know how you don't talk about Jackson Dart first. There was a lot of talk about Jackson Dart. Obviously, you know, our lady friend on Twitter, I'm not going to mention her name, I got a little agitated when she's like, oh, Giants fans, cover your eyes because Shore Sanders did this and this. Well, I have no problem with Shore Sanders, but Shore Sanders isn't the Giants quarterback, and I don't know why he's linked to us. So I was happy that Jackson Dart went out and performed well. Adriana, what did you see from Jackson Dart that you like? What did you think about Jackson Dart's performance?
So one of the things that I was really looking for in this game with Dart was him consistently getting through his reads. And we saw a lot of that during camp, but I feel like the biggest thing with this team is that they lack consistency across the board. So with Jackson Dart, he had a few really great days of practice, and then he'd have a day or two that was not so good. So I wanted to see if after a couple good days of practice, he could continue it in a game. And I was really impressed with a lot of the throws that he made. That touchdown pass to little Jordan Humphrey was absolutely a thing of beauty. And one of the top qualities or highlights about Jackson Dart coming out of college was that he was good under pressure. That was a perfect example. The fact that at the NFL level, he had guys rushing at him. He was still able to make an on-target throw at the receiver, led him perfectly into the end zone. It was like everything about it was perfect. And I was like, if we continue to see more of this, like as someone who didn't love the draft pick at the time, this is the stuff that I love to see from him. And I'm like, okay, could make me really excited about watching him, you know, for the next 10 years as the Giants quarterback. So I was really happy with a lot of the things that I saw. I'm still begging him to slide next time, but I think he did a really nice job under pressure, made some accurate throws, was in good command of the offense. And overall, seemed like he was very calm, cool, and collected and not worried about, you know, the stage or the lights or the crowd in Buffalo, any of it. So I was very impressed with him.
I can say this. When Chris and I were doing the game, you mentioned him. I think he had that 19-yard run. Chris and I were like, slide.
I did the same thing. I'm like, please.
Get down. Chris, you and I obviously did the game together. We were pretty impressed. What did you like about Jackson Dart the most?
Yeah, I mean, Adrian hit on the throw. The throw was that's exactly what you want to see, right? He took a licking on that throw too, right? They let up pressure on that play. He stood in the pocket. He took the shot, and he delivered the ball perfectly 30 yards down the left sideline. Like, that was a picture-perfect pass. Throughout the course of the time he was out there, the thing that stood out to me the most with Jackson Dart, in comparison to what we're used to with Daniel Jones, was his pocket awareness. Like, he had that other play where he manipulated the pocket and he was able to, buy his receiver some time, and he's able to throw it over the middle for a gain of like 15 or 20 yards. He has a good feel for the pocket, at least compared to what we're used to. So that definitely stood out. And it's one game. You know, it's preseason. He's going against backups, but to be fair, he didn't have his starting receivers out there either. So I'm not going to go nuts, but it was certainly a very encouraging first glimpse of Jackson Dart, to the point where a lot of Giants fans on Twitter are starting for him to call for him to start, which I don't want to see. I want to see him learn and grow under Russell Wilson, at least for a good portion of this year. But very encouraging sign, and I'm sure we'll talk about the rest throughout the pod. There was a lot more to talk about than just Jackson Dart, but that was the headliner. That's what everybody was excited to see, the rookie quarterback first round pick, and he looked as good as you could have hoped for. I think he was like 15 for 20. He had like a near 70% completion percentage.
Yeah, he's 12 for 19, I think.
12
He
for
was
19,
12.
whatever.
Oh,
it
no, I'm
was.
sorry. He was 15 for 24. I'm sorry. 15 for
24.
That was him or no, he was 12 for 19 for 154.
Shador was 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he showed his legs. He showed everything that you would want in a first preseason appearance. So really, really encouraging things from the rookie quarterback. Loved what I saw from him.
Anthony, I know you like Jackson Dart coming out of college. He obviously had to impress you. He did a lot of really good things. What stood out to you the most about his performance?
The number one thing that stood out to me is the number one thing that I said in our preview that I wanted to see from him, which was poise. He was completely poised in that game. I mean, when the pressure came, it didn't bother him at all. And not only when under pressure from the pass rush, but under pressure in terms of the situation. 3rd and 5, he throws that touchdown strike. There's a lot of quarterbacks that just take their yards and get the first down. But he sees something in the coverage and he's like, no, I'm going for the end zone here. I've got an opportunity. I've got a window. I don't know if I'll get that again. So I'm not going to even play with the down and distance. I'm just going to go for the end zone. Even on 2nd and 15, a lot of quarterbacks would check down under pressure and just take their yardage. He steps up in the pocket, makes a guy miss, and then fires a strike for a 16-yard gain. And there was another 3rd down later in the game. I just love the way that he played. No matter the down and distance, he was just going to make the throw. And he didn't care about how tight the window was. He didn't care about how much pressure was in his face. He was going to stay poised. And it was really impressive. I think with rookie quarterbacks, that's the number one thing that they struggle with is poise. A lot of them, I think you think of Bryce Young or Justin Fields when they started their careers out and how the pressure would get to them. And again, pressure from the pass rush, pressure from down and distance, pressure from the media and the fans. Pressure would just get to these guys and it would cause them to collapse and crumble in certain situations. But Jackson Dart in this first preseason game, and I know it's only preseason, his level of poise was extremely impressive to me. And I think that's a trait that does carry over through the preseason and into the regular season when you evaluate young quarterbacks. And it's really the number one thing that separates a young quarterback from having success early in their career, I think, is that poise. So that's what really stood out to me. In terms of the football stuff, yes, he needs a slide, but I like his legs. I like his ability to escape the pocket, but I also really like his ability to navigate the pocket. It felt like he had very good presence. He knew when the rush was coming, he knew where it was coming from, and he knew how to avoid it and get a clean base to throw the football from. So all around, a lot of positives. I don't really have much negative to say. He only missed a couple of passes. A couple of them were dropped as well, so you can't even fault him for those. I'm really impressed with it, and I'm hoping we get another great performance this Saturday night against the Jets.
It's funny with the Giants. A lot of times we can't win. You know, if he plays bad, oh, he's a bust. If he plays good, oh, he's playing against backups. So sometimes you can't win. Much about what you guys are talking about, what impressed me was his poise. That, like Chris mentioned, even though we went for no gain, his ability to manipulate the pocket and to make that defender miss just to get the ball out, not take a sack, which Daniel Jones probably would have taken a sack just to get no gain instead of -6, in my opinion, is a 6-yard gain. The other thing I'll say is I think which was really impressive, and I know it's preseason, so you can take it for what it's worth. We didn't give up a sack. The line did not give up a sack. That
51 passing.
Not one sack. So granted, it's preseason, but still, that's pretty impressive. The thing I loved about Jackson Dart was he called some of his own plays. The one play that he took off for a 5-yard scramble, he saw no linebackers in the field, just called his own number, got the yardage. And he checked to that pass to little Jordan Humphrey before the play started. He checked that. He saw that safety moving over the left. He saw the high safety and said, I'm taking, like you said, Anthony, I'm taking that shot right now. And he took a shot. He stood in there, took the shot, and put the ball right on the numbers, man. That's got to be impressive. And again, I just sit here and go, this isn't even our starter, man. He's going to have chances to learn and grow and watch Russell Wilson and watch film and just get smarter as it goes along. And knowing what the Giants are going, I shouldn't say I know what they're going to do next year, but assuming that they're going to build the line and get him another receiver and really take care of this kid, when you just see the way his mind worked, his ability to go through progressions, his ability to see things before the ball, before the ball is snapped and make certain audibles at the line of scrimmage. That's really impressive to me to see a young quarterback be able to do that. And he didn't always scramble. There was a couple of times he just did move around in the pocket and didn't take a sack and was able to get the throw off. Like you mentioned, Anthony, I think it was to Washington, the 16-yard pass. He could have taken off, but he stepped up and he gunned that thing across the middle of the field. Again, you can say it's preseason. You can try to knock him however you want to, but I'd rather see him play like that than play terribly and have to go, well, it's just preseason. So I was really impressed with Jackson.
And I'm going to tell you what, Baddog, another guy that needs to be talked about after I've gotten to see some of the breakdowns after the game you mentioned, and I'm with you, and I'm still with you, that I do think we're going to attack right tackle next year's draft. Marcus Bowe might be our future right tackle. The way that this guy looked, man, he is physical. He is nasty. A lot of people projected him to be a guard. I'll tell you what, and I don't want him to start the year. Don't get it twisted. I think he's going to be a very valuable swing tackle for the Giants, and maybe a guy that steps in if Andrew Thomas gets hurt again, or Illuminor has to shift the guard if there's injuries. Who knows? But he looks like a steal. And again, it's preseason. I want to preface it by saying that. But he really stood out to me in that game with the way that he played and the way that he's played thus far with some of the clips I've seen in the joint practices as well. So really encouraging sign from the 5th round pick, Marcus Bowe.
And he played left tackle too, so he could be our swing tackle of the future. I mean, we're going to have to think about what happens, with Andrew Thomas. I think he only has 2 more years left on his deal after this year. So, we got to make some plans for the future. And if Marcus Bowe can either be the right tackle or the swing tackle, could be in business.
By the way, I see the super chats coming in. We really, really appreciate that. Just know we'll get to those, your questions and stuff in the second half of the show. So just, don't go anywhere. Promise we will address those. Anthony, because that was actually the next thing I was going to talk about, is how well Marcus Bowe performed. Again, he looked like he'd been over there for a couple of years. It was pretty amazing. And of course, he got in a scrum today with the Jets. He has no problem mixing it up. I mean, listen, we did the draft. Chris and I I don't know how you guys, felt about this, but in the 4th round, we were like, we'll take Scatterbo or Bowe. We'd be happy with either one of them. To get them both, I thought was incredible that Bowe fell right in our lap. Anthony, what did you see from Marcus Bowe on Saturday?
I saw a few things, but one of them being violence in the run game. He had a couple of knockdowns where he just threw people to the ground and a pancake as well. And I thought that was pretty cool to see. A lot of the times with these young rookie offensive linemen, maybe they don't have that strength and that power right away to really move people in the running game, but that doesn't seem to be an issue for Marcus Bowe. But in pass protection, I thought that he was just really clean. There was a lot of talk about him in the pre-draft process, whether or not he'd be a tackle or a guard. And then there was even some chatter that he could move all the way to center. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that he's a little bit shorter and also a little bit lighter. But he didn't seem to have any issue anchoring at all against those pass rushers on Saturday. And I actually think him being a lighter tackle allows him to mirror these pass rushers really well and be a lot quicker on his feet than, let's compare him to a guy like Evan Neal, who's really struggled with that over the last few years, being quick on his feet and getting out in front of these speedy edge rushers. Marcus Bowe, being lighter, has the ability to get out in front of them. And I think that's what we saw. So that's how he was able to hold up so well in pass protection. But really, the entirety of the Giants offensive line looked spectacular on Saturday, which I don't know when the last time I said that is. They had 51 dropbacks and not a single sack.
Last time we won the Super Bowl, maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But even then, I don't think so, because Eli was under pressure a lot that season in 2011-12. So I don't know. And I know Josh Azidu had a spectacular performance as well. I think that's the first time I've ever said that of Josh Azidu. So whatever is changed for the Giants and whatever is, helping this offensive line develop, if that's Carmen Brasillo, if that's just maybe it's Russell Wilson and the communication from him and the rest of the quarterbacks, whatever it is, I hope it continues into the regular season, because if this quarterback room can get protection like that during the regular season, I think we should see a much cleaner product on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, just think about if Evan Neal can develop into a guard, and you do have Marcus Bowe that can play right tackle. Think about the depth all of a sudden that the Giants line has, and that's something we definitely have not talked about. As Adriana mentioned, I think I said your name 3 different times now. Just think about if, we do lose Thomas, how you can kind of maneuver. If you do have to move Illuminor over to left tackle, maybe you can trust Marcus Bowe at right tackle. I mean, who knows? I don't know if they'd ever want to replace John Michael Schmitz. If anything, that's the guy that worries me. He wasn't – I did see him get pushed back a couple times in the run game on Saturday. I still worry about him just because he's undersized. I don't know how well he's the one. Well, they all worry me. Let's not lie about it. The Giants, there's still a lot of question marks. But the fact that they did not give up a sack in 51 snaps is pretty amazing, considering just 2 years ago they gave up 85 sacks, which is the second most in the history of the NFL in 2023. So obviously that particular unit is moving in the right direction. And this is what you want to see if you're a New York Giants fan. You want to see improvement. This is what we talked about, or at least I talked about with Joe Shane. The last couple of drafts, I thought he really hit on him. And I think you're going to start to see those results on the field now. Last year, obviously, we didn't. We dealt with a lot of injuries to like every position. It seemed like Malik Neighbors missed time. We went through 4 quarterbacks. We had Andrew Thomas was out. So, as this progresses and you get better and better talent on the field, you get more depth. Obviously, you're going to have a better chance to win. We hope everybody is healthy. But the offensive line was pretty damn good. And like you said, Anthony, I don't remember last time I said that. So
that was without Andrew Thomas. That was without Andrew Thomas.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty
granted, against a lot of it being backups, but still encouraging. Nevertheless, encouraging. Yeah.
It's really encouraging. And he didn't go against, as my voice cracks, he did not go against backups. He went against an all-pro. His name is, I think you guys know it. It's this guy, what's his name? The guy that wears 51. That guy's pretty good, if you didn't know. And that's Abdul Carter, man. The guy had like 6 sacks and 4 pressures. Anthony, what can we say about Abdul Carter? Not just Abdul Carter, but the line in general, how much pressure without Dexter Lawrence it got on the Bills in that first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say about Abdul Carter that hasn't already been said. He's so quick on his feet. His get off is insane, and he's just too much for any offensive lineman. That much is clear, but you just mentioned it right there. Dexter Lawrence wasn't on the field, and that's what I really noticed was how productive he was in those 6 snaps. And that's without the biggest guy in the middle of the field, the guy who sucks up all those double teams and who creates all these one-on-one opportunities. When you put him on the field, you're not going to be able to double team Carter and Burns. And obviously there's Kayvon Thibodeau as well. So you've just got all these different bodies on the defensive line that can get after it. And there's even guys I think who are developing on the back end, like DJ Davidson's looked really good this summer. He had a sack in the preseason game. He made some nice plays today against the Jets in the joint practice too. He's looked really good. And there's a lot of those guys. I mean, Darius Alexander, I know Giants fans kind of went crazy today because his film dropped, whatever, all 22, and they didn't think he didn't look too good. But I thought he looked fine. I think he looks like a 3rd-round pick who's developing. And honestly, I know I'm kind of tail spinning this into a different conversation, but it's still on the defensive line. I think with Darius Alexander, I got to get this off my chest because Giants fans were like going crazy about him this morning. Just because Darius Alexander doesn't look like an immediate all-pro the same way that, Abdul Carter doesn't mean he's not going to be a good rookie or a good player. I think that Giants fans have overreacted so quickly here with Darius Alexander. I get that he's an older rookie, and I understand that he might be a little bit more limited in his growth and potential because of that, but he is a 3rd-round pick who was injured in the spring, so he's working from behind to catch up, and obviously he's going to be a little bit slow out of the gate. But Giants fans need to be a little bit more patient with him. I just think they see Jackson Dart with immediate success. They see Marcus Bowe, and they see Abdul Carter. That's not normal. The Giants seemingly got really lucky here with those 3 guys having such immediate success. Let's be a little bit more patient, I think, with Darius Alexander. I'm sure he'll have a better bounce back performance against the Jets.
And we haven't even seen Cam Scatterbo yet. We didn't even get to see him. So that's a 4th-round pick. But to your point, Anthony, let's not compare Darius Alexander to Abdul Carter. It's not fair. One's pick number 3, one was round number 3. It's not fair to compare those guys at all. Usually when you're picked in the 3rd round, it's because you have some developing to do. Adriana, what did you think about Abdul Carter and the Giants defensive line on Saturday?
Oh, it's so exciting. And I was at practice today and watching them with Dexter Lawrence on the field. I was just like, these guys are they're going to demolish people. And like Anthony was saying too, like you want to double team Dexter Lawrence. Okay, good luck covering literally anyone else who's on the field. Have fun. And like all of their one-on-one reps today against the Jets, they just smoked them all. It was really fun.
I saw your video on Twitter. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, it's like, this is just the beginning. Like, I don't, for the offense, I'm like, just score some points. The defense is going to do literally everything else. But I know we've all been like obsessed with Abdul Carter, but I think there's always this question mark of you see guys play really well in college and it's really hard to translate or to guess how that's going to translate to the NFL. And seeing Abdul Carter, he's better than advertised. Like to see him at the NFL level, to do these one-on-one battles, to go against Deion Dawkins, who's an all-pro left tackle in the league. Like he's not going against Joshua Zudu or some like third-string bum. Like he went against a really good player in a preseason game and was able to handle him and get around him. That I'm like, I just think the sky's going to be the limit with him. And I don't think we're ever going to get sick of talking about him. It's awesome.
Yeah. Chris, how cool is that to see our defensive line just wreak havoc all day in the Bills' backfield?
And against the Jets, who are supposed to have a good offensive line in the head-to-head practices the last 2 days. That's all you've heard from everybody, how the Giants' defensive line has dominated them. Baddog, it's simple. The Giants have their identity back. Growing up as a Giants fan, that's what I thought of when I thought of the New York Giants. When you thought of the 49ers, you thought of the West Coast offense. When you thought of the Dallas Cowboys, you thought of the offensive line. When you thought of the New York Giants, you thought of the pass rush. From the beginning of watching this team until we lost that identity over the last 10 to 15 years, the Giants have that identity back. There's no doubt about it. Joe Shane has made that a point of emphasis. Of course, he drafted Kayvon Thibodeau for 5th overall. He traded a first-round pick and paid Brian Burns a boatload of money. And now, in my opinion, he has the best member of any member on this team at that position in Abdul Carter that he drafted in the 3rd round. Of course, extended Dexter Lawrence. He has made that his focal point of this football team for the most part since he's taken this job in terms of how he's wanted to build the team. And I think we're going to start to see the fruits of his labor this year, because this Giants pass rush is going to be impossible to stop. Like, there's going to be times, of course, where they struggle, but I think we have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. And Abdul Carter, Adrian is absolutely right. I said he was the best player in this draft, so I thought he was incredible. He's exceeding my expectations because I think he's going to be one of the best edge rushers year 1 in the NFL. Call me crazy, say I'm overhyping the guy. I think he's going to have a Micah Parsons-like impact his rookie year in the NFL. That's how talented I think this guy is. And he had 6 plays. And the other thing that stood out to me with him, as we were calling the game, Baddog,
he lined up in different places.
What is that?
He lined up in different places.
Exactly. I didn't know where he was. I'm trying to call the game and find out where he is. It's not like he lines up in the same spot every play. He had 6 plays. He rushed the quarterback 3 times. On all 3 plays, he had pressure. Dude, I think he's going to have a monster year, double-digit sacks plus for Abdul Carter. I think he's the real deal, and I think this pass rush in general is one of the best units in the entire league.
As the elder statesman of this group and a guy that grew up in the 80s, I can tell you that was their identity even back then. Whenever they won Super Bowls, it was predicated on defense running the football. This is what they did. Outside of 2011, where their defense wasn't really good and they had no running game, that was Eli. I mean, it's rare that you can just say, yeah, I always just love the defense carried Eli. Yeah, okay. Well, that's Eli in 2011. Just for you people that are in here that aren't Giants fans and want to get on Eli's case and say the defense carried him. Eli had the most passing yards in the history of the NFL in that postseason. He also had the most passing yards in history in the NFL. If you want to add his postseason as a regular season, Eli Manning carried the Giants in 2011. I don't give a shit what anybody says. The man was absolutely brilliant that season. Should have won the damn MVP because the Giants had no running game nor no defense, and they still were able to win a Super Bowl because of number 10. So give the man his damn due. If you want to say 2007, that's fine. I understand our defense was pretty sick in 2007, but in 2011, it wasn't. It got better in the postseason. It was really good, but man, Eli was the man that year. So as a guy that's seen the 86 Giants, the 90 Giants, the 2007 Giants, and the 2011 Giants, yeah, it feels like we got our identity back. And I can remember Lawrence Taylor a few years ago talking, I might have been when Joe Judge was the coach, said the Giants have no identity. Like, what is their identity? What was our identity when Gettleman was here? We didn't have any because I don't think Gettleman ever had a plan. I don't think Gettleman knew what the hell he wanted to do. He didn't know how to draft. He really had no clue what he wanted to do. Did he want to build defense? Did he want to build offense? He said, I want to rebuild and compete at the same time. You can't do that. And sometimes, man, unfortunately, you have to hit rock bottom before you can come up. And I think last year was rock bottom. It was the worst. It was a 100-year anniversary. We lost the most games in the history of this franchise. We watched our best player go to our most hated rival and win a Super Bowl. It really doesn't get any lower for the Giants than it did last year. And the trajectory of this team is going in the right direction. I'm very excited to see what this team is going to do this year. I think they're going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And that defense is going to be the reason why. It's going to keep us in every game. If that offensive line can protect Russell Wilson, he don't turn the ball over. If we don't make mistakes and our defense forces some, the Giants are going to be a force to be reckoned with, believe it or not. Most people don't want to believe it, but it's going to be true. It's going to be damn true, as Kurt Angle would say. So with that said, we will get to your super chats and your questions right after this. Again, this show is being brought to you by Indacloud. If you're 21 or over, get 25% off your first order, free shipping. Use the code Giants Collective link in the description. We're going to hear from our sponsor. Chris, take it away. 3 minutes, guys. Back after this.
What is going on, Giants fans? I just wanted to talk briefly about the new sponsor on the channel, IndaCloud. Trust me, Giants fans. I know, I certainly know, and I'm sure you do too, over the last couple of years, sometimes you need to take the edge off watching this football team. We all saw last year where the Giants went 3-14, and IndaCloud certainly could help assist that, maybe when the Giants aren't doing so well in the first half, to get your mind off this football team. Trust me, I know from firsthand experience. You ever look at your to-do list and think, yeah, I'm going to let future me handle that? That's where IndaCloud comes in. A quick edible, and suddenly overwhelmed and spiraling becomes cozy and snacky. IndaCloud makes legal hemp-derived THC products that are actually good. Not the mystery edibles your roommate's cousin made in his air fryer. We're talking gummies, vapes, and pre-rolls that are strong, tasty, and get the job done. Kind of sounds like Dexter Lawrence. I don't know about the tasty part. All their products are third-party lab tested. They're 2018 Farm Bill compliant, and every order is shipped discreetly. So your mailman doesn't judge you, and neither will your roommates. So if you're 21 or older, head on over to indacloud.co and use code GIANTSCOLLECTIVE to get 25% off your first order plus free shipping. That's indacloud.co, code GIANTSCOLLECTIVE. 25% off free shipping. You know what to do. As I said earlier, I know from firsthand experience. You know, a lot of times Giants fans will drink their sorrows away watching this team the way they've played over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Well, last year, when the Giants lost to the Vikings 28-6 to open the season, or at least I think that's what the score was, I could have forgot. IndaCloud certainly had my heads in the cloud after I took a nibble of one of their chewables after the game. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had it the year before when the Giants dropped that game 40-0 against the Dallas Cowboys, because I certainly could have used it then as well to get my mind off this football team. So trust me, this year, we all know as Giants fans, it could get rocky. We're going into the year optimistic, but we all know that things could turn real fast. So if you need to get your head in the clouds and take your mind off this football team, or maybe you just want to get your mind off of something else, or maybe you just want to get some assistance going to sleep, IndaCloud could certainly assist you in that. They've got different THC levels so you could float or fully launch, offered in numerous different effects. No sketchy packaging, no surprise highs. Over 50,000 happy customers. Products are vegan, lab tested, and actually delicious. If you're 21 or older, now's your chance to float above the stress, because IndaCloud is giving all new customers 25% off their first order plus free shipping. Just use code GIANTSCOLLECTIVE or click the link in the show notes to claim your discount. That's indacloud.co, indacloud.co. Use code GIANTSCOLLECTIVE for free shipping plus 25% off your first order. And when you order, fill out that quick little survey. It helps support the show and keeps IndaCloud sending you the good stuff. So go ahead, tell future you've got it covered. Then grab a gummy and vibe out with IndaCloud. And go Big Blue.
And what do we learn from that, ladies and gentlemen? We don't know if Dexter Lawrence is tasty or not. This is what we learned from that. And it's 420 somewhere. So go to indacloud.co. Link in the description. Check it out. Let's get to some of your super chats. Here we go. JJR says, I'm trying not to get too excited, but it's tough. It has been tough. But
I feel your pain.
What's that?
I said, I feel your pain, JJ. I'm like, especially after practice today, I'm just like, the way that they manhandled most of the Jets offense, like for most of the 2 practices, I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. How could I not be excited about this?
It really is, because we've been so bad for so long, and you can definitely see a lot of positive aspects. Again, we've just seen training camp in the first preseason game, but it's nice to see these rookies make an immediate impact. And I mean a really, really good, serious impact. It wasn't just, hey, this guy had a good play or two. It's like Bo dominated. Dart was great. Carter dominated. I mean, you can't get much better than that. The only thing we were missing was seeing what Scadaboo did. I would love to see Cam Scadaboo in there. Oh, I kind of missed the point here. I wanted to talk about Dante Miller a little bit, and how awesome was Dante Miller. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dante Miller, and obviously he was injured, but you can't teach that 4.27 speed. And what I saw out there on Saturday, he moves at a different speed. Somebody mentioned it in our chat during the game, and he's mentioned David Wilson, and I said yes. When I went to training camp in 2012, David Wilson moved at a different speed than everybody else. And you could see Miller had another gear. When Dart threw that perfect screen pass where he floated it over the lineman and Miller caught the lineman was like this close to him, and next thing you know, he's 3 yards away from him. Super excited about what Dante Miller could bring to this team as a guy. There's your home run hitter. I mean, if the line can open up a hole for that guy, you can kiss him goodbye. What'd you guys think about Dante Miller?
Yeah, he's got to make the team. Like I know that we have competition there, and they got to find a way to get this guy in the team. The one thing I will say, he's got to get a bit more patient at times with some of those screen passes because sometimes he runs ahead of the blockers. So he's got to get a little bit better from that aspect. But the speed's there. The guy had an unbelievable game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dable gave him the game ball at the end of the game. Giants got to find a way to squeeze him on this roster. Whether that means they got to carry 4 running backs, that's what you do. They can't let him hit waivers because I think a team will claim him real fast. I think the Giants should end up rostering Turbo Miller for his speed alone. Like you said, Bad Dog, you can't teach speed.
I agree. And he's good on special teams too. He has experience there. He's got good hands. He caught almost every ball that came his way. And I know so many of us are like, oh, we're kind of just over Singletary. I mean, I would love him to replace Singletary. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I do think he has proven at this point that he's valuable to this team. I'd love to see him do it again on Saturday, but he's a former Gamecock like myself, so I'm always rooting for him. And I feel like, he's one of those guys that when he gets the ball in his hands, he can make a play. And he effectively ran the Giants screen game last week for the first time in forever. So I'm like, if we can use him just for specific plays like that, he offers something.
Yeah, I mean, he led the team in receiving yards, which I think is incredible for a running back to do. He had 80 yards as a receiver. So I really like his game. Everybody said it. You can't teach speed, but you also can't teach power. I think everybody forgets he had like 30-something bench reps or whatever when he did his pro day. He's strong, too, and durable. So I really like him. I agree, Chris. They got to find, if it's holding 4 running backs, whatever they got to do, they got to find a way to keep him on the roster.
They've definitely had 4 running backs before. And, I mean, if I'm looking at this, to Adrian's point, I think that Singletary would have to be the odd man out. He's kind of, just hanging on to a spot, but you got a bunch of young running backs there now. And, there's no way Turbo can't make this team just in that performance alone. I mean, it was ultra impressive.
Maybe you could find a way to spin him for a 6th or 7th round draft pick if it means that you only want to carry 3 running backs to keep Turbo on the team. Singletary, I mean, maybe
Singletary,
not Turbo, Singletary, if you want to only carry 3, but you have to keep Turbo on this team.
George, thank you so much. Tomorrow's coffee is on me for each of you. George, salute, my friend. Thank you. We all need our coffee, that's for sure. What's the official MetLife chant for Abdul Sachs? Do it probably is just do.
How about it would take some organization, but how about like a 80,000 person Darth Vader noise with the breathing, the Darth Vader breathing.
Yeah,
every time he gets a sack.
I gotta get one, but it would take some. It definitely would have to take some coordination. You could have one side of the stadium just go ab, and the other side go duel. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
That's the crowd. Ab, duel. That'd be cool.
Maybe we need signs, and this is what we need to do. We strategically need to all go to a game together and everyone sit in a different section. So someone has a sign that says the ab, and then someone has the duel, and then we can just do that across the stadium.
Yeah.
I like it.
That'd be good. So Giants fans, spread the word. Ab, duel. That'd be great. That's the way you do it. He's going to dominate, baby. Let's go.
Or someone needs... Another idea, someone needs to dress up like Chewbacca and maybe just do the Chewbacca sound. Maybe that's what it is.
It's not bad. I like it.
That'd be hysterical.
Our guy, SPP Williams. What a trooper across the pond. It's 12:38 a.m. over there, but our guy SPP is in the house. He says happy collective day. Not sure what you guys are expecting game 1, but I'm getting very old school football vibes. D-line dominance, pass rush, and running the ball. Smash mouth football. Let's go. That's Giants football, baby.
Let's go.
That is Giants football. I'm so ready for it. I'm ready for it.
And thank you for being here, man. We appreciate it. But yeah, like we all said, they're getting their identity back. That's what that first game felt like. The pass rush is hopefully here to stay.
Definitely. I don't know if that's S Hardy or Shardy87. Thank you so much. Says our D line is the Fantastic Four. Dex is big like Thing. Brian Burns brings the heat like Human Torch. Abdul has great bend like Mr. Fantastic, and Kayvon disappears along.
Not bad. Not bad. It might be the Fantastic Four. I don't want to pick on Kayvon, though. I think he's going to have a good year, but not bad. Pretty good.
Hey, Carl Banks said he was really setting the edge very well at camp, which I still think Abdul Carter on the mind. I still think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to have a breakout year because he's going to be the guy that's forgotten about, and I think he can just feast. I really do. There's no pressure on Kayvon. Everybody's going to be looking at Abdul Carter.
Well, I also think part of Kayvon's problem, too, is that for some reason, it seems like the stamina hasn't been there where it's been there with Burns. They both played, 100% or 98% of the snaps last year. But Kayvon, towards the end of games, always looks winded. And I think the fact that this year he's not going to have to play 100% of the snaps because they have that rotation there, I think he's really going to benefit from that. And that means that he's going to be able, with those less snaps, to be able to put more power and more, explosiveness and energy or whatever into those snaps, knowing that, he's not going to need oxygen to keep him in the game until the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I'm excited about the pass rush. Cruzon, thank you so much. He's been with us forever, Chris. Cruzon. Yeah. When a star player from a rival team gets hurt and the player being out will give you a better chance of your team winning, do you hope the player comes back ASAP or just hope he misses games? I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, so I always want to beat the best. I mean, if it happens, like what's going on right now, Cruzon with like Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin holding out, I hope they miss games for that. I mean, they hold out, get your money, guys. Looking right at you, Terry, sit out. I mean, it's okay. Micah, sit out. Get what you're worth. You don't need to play against us. It's cool. You don't want to risk injury when you're trying to get that contract. So sit out till you get your money. That type of thing's different. But no, if I always want guys to be healthy. I want to see what we got. I want to beat the best. And that's just the way I look at it. I don't know what you guys think.
I never root for injuries, but what I'll say is if a player's already injured, I don't mind if Micah Parsons.
Don't hurry back.
Right. Take your time.
Yeah, take an
extra week to recover.
Yeah. I was thinking about that with Landon Dickerson and the same thing with Micah too. I'm like, I don't want you to get hurt because like Bad Dog said, like I want to beat the Cowboys when everyone's on the field. Like I want to win when Micah Parsons is out there having a good game and we still smoke them. But until we get there, if Micah wants to sit out week 2, I would really appreciate that. And then we can get some confidence up, like beating the Cowboys without Micah. And then at the end of the season, we can beat them with Micah.
I just want to beat the Cowboys. I don't care who the hell's on the field. I'm sick and tired of losing to them. Without question. What?
We're going to just have a real deal. Okay. How do you think?
Yeah, mommy knows. The tuxedo.
Okay.
The tuxedo. I just don't go to 7. About the tuxedo, she knows this. It's dark chocolate, white chocolate, macchiato. I need one of those in my life. And our guy George said, "Get a coffee." I mean, I'm going to take George's word here. I'm going to get a coffee right now. Pharaoh, thank you so much, man. He says there seems to be competition at every position this year. That's big. When DJ was here, they didn't want competition because it hurt his confidence. I think his confidence was hurt anyway. My dog's really happy. Now it looks like they're growing everyone confidence with healthy competition. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I like it. I think there should be competition.
Yeah, and as we've talked about several times, I remember we talked about it for like 10 minutes when we had Bobby on. The depth on this team is as good as it's been in years, like at every position. Like Pharaoh just said, like we have more depth on the D line, we have more depth in the running back room, we have more depth in the quarterback room, all over the secondary, all over this entire roster. There's camp battles and guys that are trying to get starting spots on this team or even just make the team in general. So it's definitely the deepest this team's been in a while, which speaks to hope for the future. We all know that this team's probably not ready yet to quite compete. They got a rookie quarterback at the end of the day, and the offensive line still hasn't hit its stride to the point where they're a Super Bowl caliber unit, but the team's getting better. And the biggest reason for that, I think, is the improved depth around the team. If suddenly Brian Burns gets hurt, you're like, okay, we could get by with the guys that we have, off the edge that are going to replace him in the rotation. Same thing at the running back spots, so same thing at several spots on this roster. So Yeah, I agree with you, Farrell, and basically everything you just said.
I do think.
Yeah,
go ahead, Anthony. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think the depth really is improved, and I think it is a testament to better drafting over the last 2 seasons. Like, we feel better about the offensive line because Marcus Bowe is there. Last year, they hit on some late-round picks with Newbin in the second round, with Phillips in the third, and, of course, with Tracy in the fifth, and even Theo Johnson in the fourth. So it's really added some depth, but I also think it's important in terms of the competition to highlight all of these young guys. A lot of them come from winning programs. Like, I always think about Malik Neighbors mentioning he's barely ever lost a football game. So when he gets to the Giants and he starts losing, it eats at him. So he is a competitive guy. He wants to go on the practice field and whoop everybody's butt. He wants to do it in the regular season. And he wants to do it all over again every single year because that's what he's used to doing when he was, competing in college football playoffs with LSU and catching passes from Jaden Daniels. So I think that's a big part of it. The Giants have drafted some really good young players who've always been good and always won. I know that hasn't really panned out for Evan Neal. Like, he went to Alabama and he won, but then he came here and he wasn't so good. But, I think with Malik Neighbors and Abdul Carter just played in the college football playoffs. So did Cam Scadaboo, had some really great moments down the stretch there for Arizona State. These guys are hungry, and I think that's really adding to the competition level of practice.
I think when your job's on the line, I think you're going to step up a lot. And, yeah, I think the depth of this team, now that there is depth, these guys can't just sit there and go up, I definitely got my job. I mean, if you're a fringe player, like an Evan Neal was, or like, I don't want to say Kayvon Thibodeau, but obviously if you're not going to put all 4 of them on the field at the same time, you're in competition with the guy that they just drafted. There's a lot of things. And again, adding guys like Chauncey Golston are big time, drafting Darius Alexander. These things just give us depth. So these guys know that they got to stay on their A game because if they slip, there's a guy right behind them waiting to take their spot. You want to be on top of your game, make sure nobody does come and take your spot. And that is something that the Giants haven't had in a while because it took us a long time before we drafted really good talent. And I think the last 2 years, Joe Schoen has done a fantastic job in the draft, and he's added really good pieces here in free agency. So, again, I think you're going to start to see that translate to winning football games now, as long as we stay healthy. But the competition's really good for this team.
You mentioned Chauncey Golston. The guy was second, I think anyway, was second on the Cowboys last year in sacks.
Yeah.
He's fifth. He's our fifth edge rusher right now. So it's like that just speaks to how strong the Giants' depth is right now. It's specifically at that position.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. SPP, thank you again, my friend. He says super chat for the Adriana meme. I don't know what that is.
Me either.
Oh, okay.
Because you said her name different every single time.
Oh, yeah. I say her name. It's Adriana. It's Adriana. I don't.
Respond to all of the above.
I try to say the same every time, and I know I don't. H50, thank you so much. She says, how do you say it? Just so I know, and maybe I can pound it in my head.
I think it's funnier if she
Adriana.
doesn't.
Adriana. I knew that's what it was. My brain says, say Adriana. My mouth doesn't always say it the same way every time. Adriana.
That happens to me all the time.
I'm into clouds. H50, thank you so much. He said, shout out to the sponsor. We are heading in the right direction. This is the first time in a long time that big media has said anything positive about the Giants in long. I know it's preseason, but I'll take it. That's one thing I want to mention. It does seem like the talking heads have said really good things about Jackson Dart, which we didn't hear this for 6 years about a previous quarterback. I know people are like, stop talking about Daniel Jones, but we don't have anything to really compare a quarterback to except for who was here last. I don't ever remember anybody saying anything really good about Daniel Jones, and to the point that
in fairness, early on they did. The Tampa Bay game, people were going nuts about him after his debut start. So I'll say that. Yeah. But yes, we got accustomed to, rightfully so in most instances, the media crapping on Daniel Jones. But I do think early on, at least after his first start in the pros, he was getting a good amount of high praise. But it shortly went away when he had like the 4 or 5 pick game like 2 or 3 weeks later. So, yeah. But he did get a little bit, I would say, early on.
But I guess for me, it's like, I don't know, coming out of college, obviously people didn't like the pick. I mean,
of course,
I like the pick, but nobody really, there wasn't like an overwhelming of what a great pick with Jackson, but there also wasn't like that's a terrible pick either.
Of course,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I was just happy to hear some, like Brian Baldinger does a great job of breaking down
Mhm.
film, and he had a lot of nice things to say about him. Emmanuel Acho, who just destroyed Daniel Jones on the regular, had a lot of good things to say about Jackson. And what they liked was what Anthony mentioned is his poise in the pocket, and that goes such a long way. Daniel Jones did not have poise in the pocket; he panicked in the pocket, and it's a big difference when you can keep your head about you and make a nice play instead of hesitating and being frightened and going down. So maybe Jackson Dart's too young to know, but that's okay. We'll take it. When you're really young, you don't know any fear. Hopefully the line can protect him, and he doesn't need to know that fear. That would be great too. Our guy SPP's on fire tonight. He says it's not even about the pass rush at this point. The pack collapses so fast. The run game is going to struggle too. We didn't run the ball very well against Buffalo, so got to get better. Got to get better. I think when Andrew Thomas gets back, I think the run game will get better.
We also didn't have Scatto out there, and Tyrone Tracy only played a couple of snaps. So
it was all Dante Miller pretty much, and he's not. I don't think he'll be like much of a runner for us. He may get a couple carries, but I think he's going to be more of a receiving back. I think that's what they're really working him as in that game, and it was effective. So maybe you run him out in a wheel route, get a matchup with a linebacker. The linebacker ain't catching him; he gets by him, and we got a guy in Russell Wilson that can throw the ball down the field. Fucking Turbo down there somewhere. Rodney, thank you so much. He says his Eagles interview today, he was saying how much better the Eagles locker room was and saying how much we talked about Saquon leaving. Good riddance.
Saying that we, like the fans, talk so much about.
I think he means I think he means the players, but I didn't hear the context of the quote. But I'm guessing he meant like the Giants players in the locker room. But maybe not. Yeah,
maybe they did. Well, I'm going to say this. Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say some of them did talk about it a lot publicly. I know Kayvon Thibodeau talked about it more than once on different podcasts and stuff. It was very obvious that him leaving had an effect on the locker room and that the contract negotiations going south had a sour taste in the mouth of a lot of the Giants players. So it's not shocking to hear. But yeah, whatever Aziz is with the Eagles now, I don't need to hear from him ever again. He can just go over there and appear for 4 games and disappear like he did with us.
I forgot about it. I will say this though. Of course, the locker room is going to be better. You go to a team that just won a damn Super Bowl as opposed to a team that won 3 games. I mean, who's going to have better morale in their locker room?
Also, can we talk? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I'd be freaking pissed off if our locker room was good at 3-14.
Yeah. Also, there was a report that came out after a couple weeks into the season last year that Saquon was the one who had to rally the team together because they had like lost a couple games and AJ Brown was talking shit about the front office to the media and talking about the locker room and all sorts of stuff. And Saquon was the one who brought it together. But yeah, Aziz is going into a locker room where they have literally the best roster in the NFL. They just won the Super Bowl. They have a shitload of talent. Like, if the locker room was anything worse, like if the locker room was bad or comparable to the Giants last year, there's a problem there, a huge problem.
Yeah.
I would be mad if our locker room was giddy and happy, being embarrassed every week. They should be miserable in there. But you know what? It ain't gonna be like that no more. We coming, baby. We coming. Bear, thank you, brother. Is Washington really that much better than us? No. I see everyone picking them over us week 1. Besides quarterback, I think we stack up pretty well. We've always matched up well with Washington. We almost beat them last year with a terrible team. I don't see why we can't win week 1. All you can do, I guess, is go based on the past. We don't really know what this team is yet. That's really what they base it on. That's why they say our schedule is really tough, but that's based on last year. Every year is different. We're going to find out real quick if we're as good as Washington.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was a graphic of all of the quarterbacks that Washington.
That's what I was trying to find, actually. I just went on Twitter. I saw that. It was like a bunch of no-name quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, like the quarterbacks, I think, of the games that they won was like Daniel Jones twice, Andy Dalton, Cooper Rush, Kenny Pickett. Like, it was all a bunch of like backup quarterbacks.
They did beat Joe Burrow. I'll give them that.
Joe Burrow was the only one, but they didn't win against Patrick Mahomes. I don't even think Geno Smith was on that list, and I don't remember their schedule from last year, but it was a bunch of random quarterbacks. And I'm like, we won 3 games last year and we had the world's worst quarterback room. So like what, of course you're going to win when you don't have to worry about playing against the quarterback. Like I think the Commanders are going to be good again, but I don't think their defense did a whole lot of upgrading, and their offensive line, if it's anything like year 2 and Bobby Johnson, like the Giants was in year 2 with Bobby Johnson, it's not going to go so well. And I just think our defense is so much better this year that I don't know if Washington is going to be able to keep up with that. Plus there's issues with Terry McLaurin. And I don't even think they drafted a young wide receiver. So if they don't re-sign McLaurin, who's stepping in for him and replacing him?
I
pulled up the tweet from Warren Sharp. But
Caleb Williams is one they beat on a Hail Mary too.
This is who they played week 12 on. I did see the other one Adriana's talking about where it highlighted every quarterback they played, but week 12 on the Commanders, these were the quarterbacks they went up against. Backup Cooper Rush, Will Levis, then they had a bye, then backup Jake Hayner, I think that's how it's pronounced, the guy in the Saints, and Spencer Rattler, backup Kenny Pickett, rookie Michael Penix Jr., and backup Trey Lance. That was 6 consecutive weeks to close out the season. Those are the quarterbacks they went up against.
That's not impressive.
Yeah,
that isn't impressive. But I will say this:
they're favorites against Jaden Daniels, Bad Dog. That's the reality of the situation.
They went against Jared Goff, to be fair, and that Lions offense is really good. And it's not like they shut them down completely, but they did beat him, and they did force him into 5 turnovers. So you got to give him credit for that. I mean, they were able to beat him, and I forgot who they played the week before. Who did they play the week before Detroit? I forgot who it was.
I know. I'm trying to find this damn
Minnesota. They didn't play Minnesota.
No, I don't think so. The Bucks.
Oh, well, Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
they did beat a couple good ones in the post. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
but I still think we match up well with Washington. I honestly do, because of our pass rush. And again, we were in both of those games with them. We didn't have a kicker in the first game, and anything's better than a quarterback room last year. I just think we're not going to turn the ball over, and our offense is going to get enough points. Our defense is going to keep us in every game. We're going to be there with Washington, and we're going to be there with Dallas too.
I think it'll be a competitive game. I agree with that. I don't know if we'll win, but I think it'll be competitive.
Tyler, thank you, brother. He says Malik will be a hot take. Malik will be a top 3 wide receiver this year.
It'd be a hot take if you said he wasn't going to be a top 3 receiver.
There you go. There you go.
He's going to be number 1.
The only thing that I'm slightly worried about is the injury stuff, right? Because now I don't want to read too much into it though, but the toe thing, now he's sitting out practices a little bit, a little bit, not a major worry, but a little bit. Is that going to be something that lingers? That's the only thing I'm worried about with him. If he's on the field, he's as good as they come.
Big facts. Yeah, I know Anthony's got him winning the Triple Crown. Chris has already said he's the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
I have him top 3 now, but by the end of the year, when we got Russ and he says, fuck it, leak down there somewhere, which we need merch. I'm telling you. We just need merch. Fuck it, leak down there somewhere. People would buy that. We need some fucking leak down there somewhere merch. We got to get that done. What, why, when? Thank you so much. I don't see it. How we stop in the run. # false hope.
Well, when Dexter's on the field, he's good at stopping the run. Between him, Roy Robertson Harris, Abdul Carter's pretty good against the run. Bobby O, I don't know if anyone listened to his press conference, and he did some interview recently where he basically said that last year him and Shane Bowen did not connect off the bat, and they didn't have a great relationship, and he felt like he was trying to do too much on the field because there were guys who were not doing their assignments, and he had to overcompensate for anyone. And he basically was like, look, this year we're in a much better place. I have a lot of faith in Shane Bowen. I think he's a good coordinator, and with the additions that we made on defense, like I really have a lot of faith in him. So I think a lot of people are underestimating Bobby O. His first year with the Giants, amazing. Great. Obviously, last year fell off. Him and literally everyone else on the team had a bad year, so he's not the only outlier there. I think this year he's healthy. I really think he's going to have a bounce back year. We've seen a lot of good things from Micah McFadden. He's been used on the blitz this year. His tackling seems to be better. That's something that he has improved upon every year. So I think, as long as Dexter Lawrence doesn't get hurt, I think we can stop the run. But obviously with him not out there, that's a concern. And I know that's why so many fans, like Anthony was saying earlier, are like upset about Darius Alexander, that he's not coming out as this big star. But let's let him get some more reps first. And maybe between him, Chauncey Golston, Elijah Chapman, Elijah Garcia, DJ Davidson, like there are options there to back up Dexter Lawrence, Roy Robertson Harris, and Nacho. But let's give them, throughout preseason and see if anyone, I think, really sticks up enough to prove that.
I thought he had a good game, Robertson Harris. He got a couple.
Yes, he did
in that game, and Micah McFadden had the hit of the game. I think that was like the first play of the game.
Yeah.
He laid him out. But I thought Robertson Harris actually looked good in that game. But obviously, I get the concerns for sure. I mean, we've been like the worst run defense in the NFL the last two or 3 years, so I get it. But I do think it'll be better. By no means do I think it's going to be an elite run defense. I don't think you could go from where we were to being a top 3 or 4 run defense. But I think just with the improvements, as I've said in previous shows, throughout the entirety of the defense, I think it'll make the run defense better. You have more confidence in your coverage. You could stack the line a bit more. You have a better pass rush. So I think just with that alone, the improvements around the overall defense, I think it'll make the run defense better than it's been.
And I've mentioned
I also think
Go ahead,
I was going to say, I also think our secondary has improved against the run too. Adding Javon Holland, who's a pretty good tackler, and he's good against the run. And also because he's a good deep safety, that's going to allow Tyler Nubin to play a little bit more in the box. He had a really nice tackle around the line of scrimmage on Saturday from the box, and I think that's where he really thrives. And now that the Giants can kind of creep him up closer to the line of scrimmage, I think he's going to be an impactful piece to the run defense. He was on the team last year, but he wasn't able to play that role. So it's almost like you're getting an addition by adding Tyler Nubin into that equation. And so upgrading your run defense through him. But yeah, I think there's a lot of guys who are capable of stopping the run. I just think they need Dexter Lawrence healthy. That's the number one thing. But I also think Chauncey Golston, in terms of the actual additions that they did make, he's a really underrated one. I think he's a pretty good run defender. He's got size to him. So yeah, like Chris said, I think he was second on the team in sacks for the Cowboys last year. But also he's way oversized for an edge rusher. He plays a lot of interior defensive line, and that's a big help because if you need somebody to set the edge or move inside, he can do both, and he's a pretty good run defender in both regards.
The one thing I'll also say, and I mentioned this in previous shows, is the fact that the Giants played from behind for so much of the game. Teams get to the fourth quarter, they're just running the football. And when your offense can't sustain drives, your defense gets tired. And when the offensive line is leaning on your defensive line 34 minutes a game, 3-yard gains in the first quarter become 8-yard gains in the fourth quarter. So I think the fact that the Giants should be in a lot of these games and teams can't just, run the ball all fourth quarter, that's certainly going to help the run defense as well. I have a feeling the Giants are going to actually play ahead of some of these games. And if they can get ahead and rely on the pass rush, the Giants are going to win a lot of games. It's really what it is. I think the offense makes enough plays to keep them competitive. The defense is going to keep them in every game. Teams are not just going to be able to turn and go, there you go, run the ball, because the offense should be able to sustain drives with guys like Russell Wilson. You should be able to pick up third and shorts of guys like Cam Scatterbo. Things like this, obviously, and Malik Neighbors is going to take up a lot of attention. You got Russ who can throw the ball on time. He can audible at the line of scrimmage. The offense being better, and I'm not saying it's an elite unit by any stretch of the imagination, but just being average would be so much better than the bottom of the league, which is where we've been for years. That alone should make the run defense better. But only time will tell. It's definitely a question.
And I got to give a quick shout out before we forget to Graham Gano.
That's right. That's right.
Field goals. A huge question mark going into this year with the way he's played the last 2 years, mainly due to injury. I got no doubts going into the year. If he could stay healthy, he looked good. 3 50-yard field goals. So just wanted to make note of that. That was important too.
Great. That's a very underrated aspect of what we were missing last year as well. But to see Gano come out and hit 350 plus, definitely very encouraging because he's a big part of what we do. I mean, if we're not going to get 7, get at least 3. And we had a hard time getting 3 last year. So
unfortunately, he's a very big part of what we do. But yes,
well, hopefully not this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously he will be, but let's hope he's kicking extra points.
Yeah,
and not field goals. But hey, if you got to kick a 55-yarder, I mean, take it. I mean, you know what I mean. At least we know we have that with him. Whereas the other kickers, when he was injured.
Speaking of long field goals, you see the Jaguars kicker?
Yeah, it was like 72
70.
yards. Yeah, like you said, Chris, you get the ball to 35, 15 yards.
One first down, you're in field goal range. That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Rob Cohn, thank you, brother. Based on what we know so far, if the Giants had drafted Dart at 3 instead and never traded, would you be content with that pick now? No, I don't think any of us would have been happy with Dart at 3.
No.
I mean, I could
pass over Carter.
I could end up being happy with the pick if he turns out to be a franchise quarterback. I don't give a shit where we took him. But no, off a preseason performance, I wouldn't be sold that he was worth the number 3 overall pick. Of course not.
Yeah, no, I don't think any Giants fan would have been happy with him at 3rd overall.
Not on draft night.
No, not on draft night.
No.
Yeah, if he becomes a quarterback that wins a couple of Super Bowls, we're like, yeah, we would have taken him 3, but I don't think on draft night. No, I don't think any Giants fan would have like, yes. I don't think that's what would have happened. So I'm glad we got him where we did. I'm very happy we got Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Cruise on. Thank you again, brother. I asked that question because I find myself hoping Landon Dickerson missed our game. Don't want him out the entire season, just our games. Him and Lane Johnson are the best guard or right tackle in the game. Cruz, it won't hurt my feelings if he misses it.
Cruz, I'm in complete agreement with you. By no means am I happy he got hurt, but if he's hurt, I kind of hope he misses our game. I don't disagree with you on that point.
I won't feel a bit sorry for him, put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry about it if he has to miss our game. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt their feelings if they don't have to face, one of our guys. So no one's crying for the Giants.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. No one's feeling sorry. No one felt sorry for us when Dexter Lawrence missed 5 games last year. So
yeah.
No.
JC, thank you. I'm a little negative on Thomas Schmidt's neighbors. Neal Burns Phillips. Always nicked up. I see them missing games.
I didn't finish reading that until the end where he talked about the injury.
Me too.
How could you get disappointed with neighbors? But yeah, I mean, listen, the neighbors thing I think is a little overblown, even though I think it's, like I said earlier, I think it's a slight concern for me right now. I mean, he missed 2 games last year due to a concussion. Like in the old NFL, 4 or 5 years ago, he wouldn't have missed any games before they had the concussion rules in place or whenever they instituted it into the league. So I wouldn't necessarily consider him injury prone yet. But yeah, I think it's very fair to have concerns with Andrew Thomas for sure. I don't really have injury concerns with Evan Neal. It's more so shitty concerns. But yeah, I out of that list, the one guy that I definitely have doubts and he needs to start to make me feel more optimistic about his durability this year is Andrew Thomas. The best ability is availability, and Andrew Thomas certainly has been not great at that the last couple of years. Not blaming him for it; he got hurt, but that's certainly a worry for me.
I'll say I'm concerned about Schmitz as well. He's been hurt a lot, I feel like. He hasn't missed like a ton of games, but he's been playing through a lot of injuries. To Burns' credit, he played all 17 games last year. It was on the injury report more weeks than not, but still played through it. But Schmitz did miss time due to injuries, and Neal has missed a lot of time due to injuries as well. I feel like that's been part of his problem. Obviously, he just hasn't been good when he's been on the field, but I also don't feel like he's had enough time to fully develop because as soon as he starts to hit his stride, I remember that game against Jacksonville when he got hurt, he was having his best game. Then he got hurt, and then he missed a ton of time. I feel like that's always been the case for Evan Neal. He'll start to hit his stride all of a sudden, and then an injury occurs. And I even think that just happened a week ago, right? Like he was playing his best ball at practice, and all of a sudden he got injured. He didn't get to play in that preseason game. So I get what the commenter is saying because sometimes with the injuries on this team, they're just so poorly timed too. It's like even Deonte Banks didn't practice today. I mean, if there's anybody that needs reps right now, Hyatt as well. If there's anybody that needs reps, those 2 guys need reps, and they just get hurt at the most inopportune time.
Did you guys see? Not that he works for the team, but we all know LPG kind of has some insight to the team. You see what he said today about Hyatt? He said that he wouldn't be surprised if the Giants end up trading him. And then underneath the text, he said that from what he's heard, things aren't great. Who knows? But I just found that interesting that he said that he wouldn't be surprised if they end up trading Jalen Hyatt.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either for a couple of reasons. First of all, Lil Jordan Humphrey is playing some great ball, and he was, I think, technically listed ahead of Jalen Hyatt on the first unofficial depth chart because he was the backup to Neighbors, not the backup to Slayton. Hyatt was the backup to Slayton, so I guess that would make him WR6, right? So, but on top of that, I also think the Giants view Hyatt as a guy that they want to play on the outside to stretch the field vertically. And then you have Lil Jordan Humphrey, who all summer long has been healthy and stretching the field vertically from the outside and scored a touchdown. That should have been Hyatt's touchdown on Saturday. Really, it should have been. But he wasn't there because he was hurt. And that's always the thing with him. It's like you got to be on the field. The best ability is availability. So you got to be able to play. And then I also know there was that report Connor Hughes released of SNY that apparently he had some big fight with not only the coaching staff, but with the front office as well. It was like it went up to upper management. Hyatt had this big conflict and piece of tension. So you combine all of those different factors that are laid out there. I really wouldn't be surprised if this ends in him getting traded by the end of the summer because they like the depth that they have. Will Jordan Humphrey and some other guys, some good receivers on this team.
Yeah.
Wait, was that a new report or is that the one that we heard about this offseason?
Yeah, that was the one from
Okay.
from Connor Hughes. But it always lingers in my mind every time we see anything with Jalen Hyatt, especially he gets injured and they're just like, all right, fine, move on. Like they just put somebody else in. They don't even care to talk about him in the pressers.
We saw them do it with Tony too. Not that I'm comparing him to Tony in terms of being a distraction, but they're not scared to move off of players. We know that.
They're definitely not. There's
he's their draft pick that they traded up for. They haven't really done that with any of those type of players. So I would be a little surprised if they ended up trading him. Also, what I got from LPG's tweet was that maybe they were holding him out of practice because they're pissed at him, not necessarily because he's injured. And my thought process is if you're going to trade someone, then he needs the reps to prove that he's worth trading for.
Or you don't play him because you worry he could get hurt, so you're unable to trade him. You could look at it both ways. Yeah, but I'm not saying they're going to trade him. I just thought it was interesting when I saw him post that. Yeah.
Another guy we can get a chance. I'm running out of time. Another guy we didn't talk about, look at that, I thought was really good. Just really quick, big shout out, Thomas Fedoni. What great hands, man.
Yeah.
He the 2-point conversion, he went up and just snatched that thing out of the air. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, that's a sleeper, man. I really like Thomas Fedoni.
We were both in awe when he made that catch when we called the game together. That was an incredible catch. And then he made another really nice play on the next drive. So, and another Theo Johnson, he had 3 catches on the first drive. So clearly, guys, Russell Wilson looks like he's going to favor. And to be fair, no Slayton, no Neighbors. So you didn't Slayton, Neighbors. Am I missing somebody? Who was the other receiver that was out? Oh, Hyatt, of course.
Hyatt.
So didn't have his full repertoire, but he definitely targeted Theo Johnson early and often on the one drive that Russell Wilson was out there.
SPP, thank you so much. As we sacked Daniels multiple times first game, he gets shell shocked like DJ. Easy pick in second game. Washington ends up last in the division. Yeah.
Love it.
Fuck your shit, SPP. Talk it. Let him know.
It's the NFC East at the end of the day. It's completely unpredictable. The only predictable thing about the NFC East in recent history is we're going to suck. But it's completely unpredictable in terms of who's going to win the division. There's always a surprise team. So it wouldn't stun me if Washington wins 6 or 7 games this year. It's the NFL at the end of the day.
That's true.
Yeah.
SPP, thank you again. Ward Anthony's point, if the pass rush gets home, they run the ball more. We can stack the box, including drop Newman more into the box.
Yeah.
I saw Anthony make a point on Twitter today that you were excited about all the potential 3 safety sets this year with between the strength now, the sudden strength in the secondary, specifically at that position. I thought that was a good point too. Obviously, everybody forgets about Dane Belton, but Giants are going to be able to run a lot of 3 safety looks this year.
Yep.
Yeah, that, and I think they're going to feel more comfortable doing it because they don't need to put extra guys out there who can rush the passer. Like you can go, I mean, realistically, you could even have a 3 down lineman front and you can probably get home because those 3 linemen are Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Abdul Carter. Like they'll be able to create pressure so you can run a lot of dime packages, put 6 defensive backs on the field if you want, because you've got so much pass rushing talent and you feel comfortable with your 3rd safety and Dane Belton. So again, this team is a lot deeper this year. There's some depth, and so they can get a little bit more creative. And, there was a lot of criticism for Shane Bowen last year and the vanilla defense, conservative defense, but he really didn't have a lot to work with. The personnel just wasn't there, but now it is. So hopefully he gets a little bit more creative and he deploys some of these players in some interesting ways.
Yeah, she keeps some of our guys fresh too. Like you said, they're not going to play every single snap. In every game, because you are going to be able to spell these guys and they will be fresh at the end of which means if we're able to rotate those guys in the front 4, the front 7, at the end of the game, you need a pass rush. Those guys are going to be fresh and ready to go. And we may get home this time and instead of letting teams go down the field. And one thing we definitely got to get better at, and we know this, is the last 2 minutes of the first half and the fourth quarter. Our 2-minute defense is really bad, but I don't think that's going to be a problem this year, because I believe our pass rush can get there, and that's going to be a big difference. Pandemonium, thank you so much. Do you think Brian enjoyed a handshake deal with Russ last year?
No,
I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
No, I think Russ wanted to be a Giant, and he's made it clearly apparent for the last 4 or 5 years he's had interest in potentially becoming a Giant. I think last year the Giants couldn't guarantee Russ that he'd be a starter here because they still had Daniel under a lucrative contract that they didn't feel confident telling Russ, no, you're going to be the unquestioned starter going into the year. This year, obviously, they said to Russ, listen, we're going to be drafting a rookie. We don't want him to start the year. You get an opportunity to be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants for a near full season or a full season if you play well. So, I think it had more to do with the situation last year as opposed to this year. This year, he had the opportunity to start day one.
Yeah, I'm just happy Russ is a Giant.
Yeah,
I've always liked Russ. So I wanted to be a Giant 6 years ago when there was rumors. I actually found a video on my channel from 2019 talking about that rumor and saying I doubt he's going to be a Giant, but that'd be pretty awesome. And I always go back and look at myself and go, oh, I was like 70 pounds heavier then. That's good times. Bear, thank you so much. He says, all-time favorite past or present Giant, Lawrence Taylor.
That's the easy answer for most Giants fans.
Really
Mine's Eli Manning. I say it all the time. He's my favorite New York Giant of all time. If we're going present, Malik Neighbors. But I love Sexy Dexy too. And I love Carter, but I got to go Malik Neighbors. Malik's my guy. So I have Malik present, Eli all time.
Same answer.
You guys are young. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, that was my indoctrination to Giants football. My dad saying, sit up here next to me. And the first thing he said was, watch LT. I thought that was the guy's name. I didn't know it was his initials. I didn't know what LT was. I learned real quick who Lawrence Taylor was. But, yeah, as far as present goes, I mean, it's tough, man, because I always like defense. And it's hard not to love Sexy Dexy. But I'll tell you what, man, Abdul Carter coming for that spot, boy. I just love what I see from Abdul Carter. I could tell. I mean, it was McKinney when he was here. Obviously, we didn't get to keep him around. So
Tyler Nubin might become one of your favorite Giants this year.
Yeah, man. I just love the secondary guys. I've always been my favorite position was secondary. That's what I played. So I always like those guys. But I just, man, Abdul Carter is hard not to like what you see there.
I think it's the first time in a long time, too, that there's a lot of players on this team that not only are people excited about, but that they love. Like, you can't not love Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, who works his ass off every single practice and acts like every practice is the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And he's telling people off in the locker room last year who were being lazy. Like, what is there not to love about that? And you've got Russ, who's vocal, and Jackson Dart and his aura, and
Jameis and his personality. Don't forget Jameis.
Yeah,
like running at the telephone poles.
Right.
Yes. Like last year, everyone, we all missed Saquon and McKinney. Like those kind of felt like the building blocks of the team. And this year, I think when you look between the offense and defense, there's so many players to be excited about and just be like, actually like this team. Like I like the people on it. I feel like they give a shit and they work hard and there's good teamwork involved this year. And they're all insane. Like a lot of them are insane in like a really good way. Like Scadaboo running into telephone poles, like Thomas Fidone tattoos himself. Darius Alexander, like can't wait to throw people on the ground. It's like this. Yes. Like
and another player that I like that I always like to give, because I feel like sometimes he's not as appreciated as he should be. Not that he's an incredible player, but he's been a good Giant. And I always love the way that he's represented the organization. I'm a big fan of Darius Slayton too. I wouldn't say he's my favorite player in the team, but as he's progressed as a Giant throughout his career, I've admired him more and more. So he's among one of my favorite Giants.
Yeah, he has been a consummate professional. And if anybody, we compare him to Amani Toomer. Not that he's as good as Amani Toomer, but the way he handles himself, he kind of flies under the radar. And we're hoping that Slayton gets one before his career's over. Because if anybody deserves one of those, it's him. Dex obviously has been here and has suffered. You want like Strahan suffered. He had some good teams, but didn't win a Super Bowl. A lot of these guys that were drafted have been on really bad teams and they deserve it. But the fact that Slayton took a pay cut to stay here when Barkley was trying to squeeze out an extra $1 million guaranteed when they offered him $42 million. I mean, it just tells you the persona of how much the Giants actually mean to this person. And the fact he was willing to take a pay cut to stay in just a lousy team speaks volumes about his personality and his professionalism. So I will from here on out extremely respect Darius Slayton for what he's done for this organization. And yeah, I think he's a good leader in the locker room. And again, he's just kind of a quiet leader, but he's, it's hard not to like him. 1,000 yards for Slayton. I already told you that's happening this year. So go fuck it. Darius down there somewhere. Anybody. Bear, thank you. He says, if Andrew Thomas is injured again this season and Bo works out, would the Giants be more willing to try and trade for Thomas sooner rather than later?
I mean, if he gets hurt again this year, I don't know how much trade value he has, if I'm being honest, because he's got a big contract. He would have, 3 straight years with an injury. I don't know how many years he has left on that deal. I want to say 2 more years after this year. I could be wrong on that. I think he probably still remains a Giant, and you go into the year with him, assuming he doesn't have a injury that keeps him out next year. He still goes into next year as a Giant. I don't think you look to trade him. I still think he's too talented to give up on him if he gets hurt again this year. But you start to think about a contingency plan for sure if he gets hurt this year. But I still don't think the Giants would trade him.
So Andrew Thomas signed a 5-year deal. I didn't realize it was that long. So there's a potential out after 2026.
So 1 more year after this year.
And then it goes until 2029. Which is crazy.
What's the dead cap hit in 2027 if they had to get out of it?
2027. The dead cap is less than $5 million.
Really? Oh, then that's an easy out then. If
the dead cap is a lot for 2025, 2026, and then if they cut him, 6 or 4.67 dead cap.
So that's nothing then. I mean, not that I want that. I want him to be the long-term answer, and I hope the Giants extend him after this year if he has a great year. But it's good to have that insurance. Yeah, it's good to have.
It hinges on his health. When he's healthy, he's one of the best. You know that. Yeah. It's really just his health is a major question. But hopefully, he does play all 17 games this year, and we don't have to talk about that. It'd be nice because when we did go to the postseason in 2022, he was healthy.
Yeah,
Barkley was a big part of it. Barkley was healthy. Barkley was never he was relatively healthy. His rookie season in 2022, every other year he suffered injuries. And same thing with Daniel Jones. He was healthy in our major components were healthy. Every other year they were never healthy. It's like they barely ever played together, those 3 guys. So big case. Thank you. Says straight veteran move by Dart checking at the line to Humphrey on that TD pass after seeing the coverage. Impressive for first game. You mentioned that earlier. It was very.
And it made me think of another impressive play that we didn't mention and I mentioned it to you when we were calling the game, Baddog. And it's not something you think about if you're accustomed to really good quarterback play. We haven't been. The screen pass he made where the pocket collapsed and he floated over the outstretched arm of the defender. That it doesn't look super impressive because it's just a screen pass, but to improvise on the fly with the pressure, to be able to throw that with the proper trajectory so it doesn't get batted at the line of scrimmage. That was another, I think, overlooked play by a lot of people that I found impressive by Jackson Dart.
Yep. And that was the one Miller got away from the lineman because you got it out to your guy in space, and he got a big gain out of that one. And I think Adriana mentioned it earlier. We actually ran successful screen passes. Yeah. We haven't done that since Tiki Barber was here, for crying out loud. It's so it's nice to see the potential of what our offense can be. I just think, like I said, next year, not to look that far ahead, but with Jackson Dart coming in to start, that's their plan. You're going to see better linemen. I guarantee you they take a major swing at that, and they're going to get that second, 1A receiver. There's no disrespect to Darius Slayton, but I don't know if people would say he's a 1A guy to Malik Neighbors. But if you had Darius Slayton as your wide receiver 3, I mean, the offense would be incredible. You had that kind of wide receiver room. So we'll see what they do, but I guarantee you they're going to set Jackson Dart up to succeed. And say whatever you want about Daniel Jones, and we certainly all have. This organization did nothing to help him. I mean, if we're being completely honest, they didn't give him a chance. I don't know how much of a chance he has in Indy either, but not our problem anymore. SPP, last one of the night. Thank you so much. He says, I know Anthony plays quarterback. What's the Giants' collective roster? Baddog in the secondary. I would be a corner. I'm 6 foot. I'm about 169 pounds. And I have hands of stone. So when you can't catch, you are a corner. And back in my day, I actually was a sprinter. So I could definitely catch up if I got, if a receiver got by me. That is what I played. I played corner and wide receiver. And after watching my hands, they're like, yeah, you can just play on the other side of the football. It made sense. I don't know about Chris Nadra.
I love the 300-pound men, so I'll be Anthony's blindside protector.
There you go. I can see Adriana either a linebacker or a running back because she just wants to knock someone's teeth down her throat. So I can see it.
I was going to pick running back because I don't think I'm big enough to be a linebacker. I'm only 5'4", so I could be like, a little Darren Sproles type of running back.
There you go. I got to be honest with you, SPP. I don't think that would be a very good look for the New York Giants, if I'm being honest. If we're out there's problems. I'm 50 years old. I ain't playing football anytime soon, man. I play Madden and I sprained my thumbs. So
we'd be popular, though. We'd have our 15 minutes of fame. Just look at Tommy DeVito. We'd be popular.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even last 15 minutes in the field. They had to cart my ass off right away. Like, oh, my hamstring. It'd be over just like that. And speaking of over, that brings us to the close of another edition of Giants Collective. And this one was a lot of fun. No question about it. And it's going to be fun all year because the Giants are going to be good. We know this. It's going to be great. If you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. It helps. We're almost at 5,300 subscribers. Big shout out to In the Cloud for sponsoring the show tonight. Again, if you're 21 or older, use the promo code Giants Collective link in the description. If you get 25% off your first order, free shipping. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram. Check us out on Apple. Leave us a 5-star review. You can check us out on Amazon, iHeart, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out Giants Collective if you want to become a member. We didn't get any tonight, but you can get those cool emojis. You get your name in the outro, and you get those cool monthly member messages. So thank you, guys and girls. It was a great show. We will see you Friday for Adriana, Entertainah, Anthony. Have a good hump day. We will see you soon. It's Giants Collective, and we are gone.